This is David Willie, the guitarist and vocalist for Ironcore Resistance, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, we're bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today is an honor and privilege to welcome back Mr. David Willie. He's the vocalist and guitarist of Ironcore Resistance. They have a new album for the following that is out right now on via Pavement Entertainment. And we're going to be talking to him about that. And I should say, last time that I interviewed Ironcore Resistance was 2012. So, long time ago, but still, hey, welcome back on the show, man.
Well, thank you. Yes, that's crazy that it's been that long. It's just blowing my mind.
Yeah, but you know, hey, time flies when you're actually having fun and having a good time.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I love it.
Let's jump into this, and I'm sure you talked about this a lot, and I think it's got a good story, but there's an unfortunate story, too, behind this. So there's an unfortunate story behind all of this before it came together for this band.
Right.
The band was formed by your uncle, Joe Paul, in 1972, so this is crazy. So in 72... he passed away in an unfortunate car accident. So, Ironcore Resistance was put on hiatus for a very long time. So, 2009, you were going through photos and found one of him with the band. Tell me exactly, what was it for you that triggered, I've got to put Ironcore Resistance back together. I've got to get this back out there. What was it, man? Well,
it was me and the original drummer from Ironcore. We were just sitting here at my house. We was hanging out. Like I said, I was going through some old photos, seen the band name. Me and him was in another band before this that kind of just broke up and fell apart, so we were looking for something to do. So, like I said, I seen the name, seen that it was my uncle, figured, why not start a band called Ironcore Resistance, or reinvent Ironcore Resistance, so to speak, And that's what I've done, and, I feel like I'm kind of paying homage to him and his vision, maybe not his vision, but where they wanted to go with it, because they played originals too, and they wanted to do something with music. Anybody that plays music, they want to do something with music, whether it be a hobby or, playing in front of thousands of people. There's such a wide spectrum there. But yeah, that's basically how it started. We were just hanging out, and we felt like the world needed a metal band called Ironcore Resistance.
What do you think he would say about the style of and carrying on this band today if he was still around, man?
I think he'd be supportive of it. He might not understand it like my dad. My dad, he was in the band with him too. And he doesn't necessarily like the heaviness of it. He's an old rock guy, but they do appreciate it, So I think he'd appreciate it, and I think he'd be proud of where we're going with it and everything else.
Are there any songs that you guys have maybe kept in the set from the old Ironcore Resistance, maybe that you play live instead of on tracks or anything? Maybe, possibly?
Oh, yeah. We play at least 5 off the first album every time we play out, just because it's it's the ones that got the most plays, really. So, if that's going to be the case, and we're going to play the ones that everybody wanted to hear, so that's what we're going to do. So yeah, we work them in and get everything right and try to put it together a good show that whenever you're there for the whole ride. It's like a roller coaster. You go up, down. It's just an experience. We try to bring that experience back to live shows because we want people coming out to the live show. We want people to buy the CD and listen to it on Spotify or whatever, or iTunes, whatever you're getting it off of. But we want you to come to the show because, going to a show is a completely different experience than sitting in your car, sitting at work, or sitting at your house listening to the music. You can get some of the same emotions and feelings from it, but at the same time, you can get amplified versions of those emotions and feelings at the show because you're feeling it. You've got the air from the bass pushing on you. You've got the heat from the crowd and the lights. It's just a whole thing,
How long did it take to record For the Fallen? How long did it take to record this album?
I'm going to say about a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't take too long. I mean, we kind of knew what we were doing when we were going into it. You know, we knew what we wanted to have on it and how it wanted to come out. And then really, it only took a week because we couldn't sit in there 24 hours a day.
Sure, right.
If we could have, we had it done in like 2 days.
Well, sure. Who produced this album, David?
We did, actually. I mean, the recording engineer was David Barrick from Barrick Studios in Glasgow, Kentucky. But as far as, you know, the way the songs were put together and all that stuff, that was us. That was, you know, me, Brad, and Dave.
So do you guys like this part of having the full control, doing it yourself, or do you want to have a producer to work on something with you at some point?
You know, I mean, I like the creativity that we have with what we're doing. I would be more open to somebody suggesting things to us instead of coming in there and being like, well, you need to play it like this. You know, we won't, I'll just say we won't ever have that happen to us. You know, like we want to be able to be as creative or however you want to call it as we want to be. You know, I mean, that's just, you can't make music that's forced. We don't understand how people can do that.
Very true. Are there any songs off the album that stand out more to you on it, possibly? I mean, I know this is like picking your favorite collectible or anything, but are there any that stand out for you, possibly?
Man, the single Halfway There, that's definitely one of the better ones I like. I mean, I knew there was something about that song when we wrote it out, and it felt right. It still brings the same emotions to me every time I listen to it. We got a new one called Rise. That's a really good one. We like that one. It's good. It's a good chant song. Like, you know, you're out in a crowd and you're just sitting there banging your head and everybody yelling at the same time. It's just one of those crowd pumping songs. And then probably my third would be Tears of Yesterday, which is a slower stuff for us, but it's still, you know, like I said, it's music. So we wanted to create something that was, you know, we don't want to be put into this box of either metal or hard rock or whatever. You know, we're a rock band. I mean, that's all. That's all we are, and that's all we can be. So I figure that's the best way we can do it.
Oh, before I forget, thank you for your service, man. Thank you for what you've done for us.
Oh, no problem, man. I mean, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, and I feel like a dumbass now.
Nah, man.
Because I think the last time that I interviewed you guys, you guys were doing a lot of songs about military, and I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything about Ironcore Resistance was full-fledged military stuff, supporting them and everything. So I think that's really awesome.
Oh yeah, man. We jumped into that and wanted to make sure that everybody knew that those people, they're just people too. You know, you can't put them on a pedestal, but at the same time, you know, they're doing something that many people won't do. It's just that, you know, from my experience in it and being around those guys all the time, I mean, a lot of them are just regular kids. You know, I mean, they grew up there in that atmosphere, and that's what they learned, and that's what they grew up being. Thank God that, you know, the military still has the values to raise men to where they need to be. You know, whether that person that picks up from that and takes that with them and turns that into something, or completely ignores it and turns into a shitbag, that's, you know, on the person. But the values and all that is still there, which is great. And I think that needs to definitely be happening all across the United States.
Sure.
Because we've just gotten too out of control here lately.
Sure. Now, Zakk Wylde discovered the band and personally asked you to tour with Black Label Society. What was your reaction getting this news and what it meant for this band, David?
Well, when we found out, it was kind of like, you know, here's Zakk Wylde, my idol, asking us to play a show, which was pretty cool. So, I mean, of course, all the emotion of having that happening was going to be there that you could imagine. You know, I mean, just having your idol and somebody like Zakk Wylde, of all people, recognizing what you're doing, and then being like, hey, come out here and do it with me. And then we're like, oh, okay. You know, it was almost surreal. So, but yeah, man. And, you know, with that, we were hoping that it would put us in that same, I don't even know what the word would be, just, you know, in that same vicinity as all those other good rock bands like that, you know, because we want people to understand that rock is where it's at, and everything else just can go to hell. Okay.
And I know what you mean, because I met Zakk before, and it's Man, it's intimidating when you get to meet your idols, especially musically.
Oh yeah, man.
It's
Oh yeah, it was a trip.
Oh yeah, and to get to know Zach, he's just one of the humblest guys ever.
Oh yeah. He's a good dude, man. I like him. He's one of the good ones.
Since forming this band back together, David, how much growth musically have you seen this band go through up to the release of this album, or has it just been more of a personal growth for each of you guys?
I think it's both. I think we all grew musically, and I think we all grew musically together. And I mean, it's exponential from the first album to this album. I mean, some of the stuff on there is just completely different. But I like it gets back down to, that's what we were feeling at the time, and so that's what we wrote out. But yeah, as far as growth, I think we've grown, tremendously.
Do you do anything differently during the writing and recording process to help keep your mind fresh and open, to not let the music get stale, not go back down a path that you went down before that you wasn't happy with or anything possibly?
Not really, man. Like if I catch a riff when I'm practicing or something like that, I'll try to work it out. And if I can't, then I'll put it to the side and wait for it to arise another day, or find another riff that'll go with it or something like that. I mean, nothing. I don't have any rituals or nothing like that. I jam, and if it sounds good, I like it. We'll play it. Cut and dry, really.
What can fans expect at a show from Ironcore Resistance who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? And I hope to God I get to see you guys live soon.
I mean, the typical rock show, craziness, hooligans, loud screaming, black clothes, headbanging. Yeah, fishnets, studded bras. Yes, we want to bring that back, where the ladies actually went out and dressed up and came out for a show and had a good time, and the guys came out and they had a good time. And the vibe of a live show determines everything, how that night's going to go. Like,
yeah.
I can tell just by the first 10 minutes of walking into the bar if I'm going to have a good time or not. And it's we try to portray that and make that feeling, that atmosphere happen, so people will come away with it and be like, man, that was a good ass rock show. And I don't even care if it was us playing or anything.
In your own opinion, man, what does Ironcore Resistance bring to the table for music that's not out there, if anything, possibly?
We just bring that hardness back. We bring that emotion, that feeling back to music that's not there now, because it's not there now. There's so much overproduced music and too much riffs of somebody trying to, just trying to be impressive instead of trying to serve the song. The music is what's important, not what somebody looks like on stage doing it or how hard they play up on stage. It's how that song comes out is what gets to people. And, I don't think there's enough of that happening right now. I think a lot of these bands are paying $60 to $70 to go see. And, I could see that same show from a $5 band down the road here to my local bar. I mean, it's terrible, and I hate that. But until we all get on the same page, it ain't going to change. So we need to get on the same page and start taking this back over where it needs to be back at.
Support-wise, is there a country that shocks you that you guys get support from, that you could tell from sales or airplay or anything like that? Have you had anything that surprised you lately or anything?
Poland.
Wow.
Poland. For some reason, there was people over in Poland that was digging our stuff pretty hard. I was kind of tripped out about that. When I heard about that, I was like, that's pretty cool. And that was the first album. I don't even know about this album yet. Like, the numbers are just now coming in. So
yeah. So what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do to get involved with all this, other than find a photo of your uncle? But what was the spark initially?
Man, I've always been attracted to music, even when I was younger. But I think what made me want to play guitar and be in a band is there was a song off the Sonic Brew album from Black Label that I heard. It was called, what was that called? Blackwater or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. But it was, the solo in that just touched me in such a way that I was like, I have to play guitar. I got to be able to recreate that emotion that I just got from that solo, So that's what made me want to play.
I live in Kentucky. You live in Kentucky. Do you find it harder to get shows locally, or are you seeing yourself and the band having to get out more and drive further for shows?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Kentucky, I mean, you live in Kentucky.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah, we've got one place over here in Western Kentucky called Paducah Beer Works that will let us play at. We go up to Louisville sometimes. We go up to Lexington. As far as that goes, though, I mean, that's about it for Kentucky. There ain't a whole lot here. I mean, it's just, they like their country and they like their cover bands, and that's it. I mean, there's no room for anything else other than that. And, you know, the ones that do come out of it, they don't stay here. You know, they go somewhere else. You know, I mean, Flaw, they're from Louisville, but they, you know, they have to travel out far before anybody pays attention to them. You know, they couldn't come over here in West Kentucky and play and expect a crowd, you know.
Sure. We lost an iconic musician, Vinnie Paul, drummer of the mighty Pantera, Hell Yeah, Damage Plan, and Rebel Meets Rebel. Do you have a favorite Vinnie Paul moment possibly that you could talk about?
Sadly, I'd never met the man. I wish I had. From what I've heard from other people that I know that have met him and hung out with him, really cool dude. You know, when I heard that news that he passed, it was devastating, because our drummer, he was totally a Vinnie Paul fan, and he loved how he played, his style. And, you know, I'm the same way. Like, his drumming, you can I keep saying the word emotion, but he's got emotion in his music, the way he plays. I mean, it's just, you know, you can hear it. If you can just get on that level with him, get in that groove when he gets into it, it's overwhelming. It just takes you places.
I'm not sure if you guys get this or not, but what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to your shows or after the show, they tell you that Ironcore Resistance music has pulled him through a bad experience, or it's given the inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's just made him relax with the everyday bullshit that we all go through? What's that mean to you guys if you get that?
Oh yeah. I mean, we get that all the time. Actually, it shocked me at first when we first started getting them, but as it happens, you know, I'll reach out to them and I'll talk to them and stuff like that, and get to know who they are. Matter of fact, we had a couple just within the past month. And, you know, they were talking about how our music helps them through their days at work, or, you know, they get off work and go home and relax, and then they'll sit there and put that on and jam out a little bit or whatever. I mean, it means the world to us. I mean, that's why we're writing music. That's why we play music, for people to get those same emotions and get that feeling out, because us playing is the same thing that's happening to them by them listening to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it just for an instance, we had a show last Friday, and one of our good fans that have been around since the beginning, he actually, we let him get up on stage with us and sing one of our songs with us. And I mean, he had a blast. He had a great time. It was great to see, you know, the happiness that brought to him. You know what I mean? I mean, just doing that for him made his night. And it was great. I love seeing it. I
just like to say, as a fan and a proud supporter of Kentuckians, thank you guys for what you guys are doing, Flaw especially, and all the other Kentucky bands that are kicking ass and not backing down just because where we're from. And I hate when people do that to us.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it's bullshit what it is.
It is, exactly.
I mean, if you want it bad enough, you'll go get it regardless of what people are telling you. You know, if I gave up after everybody told us that we're not going to do anything, or we sound like shit or whatever, you know, where would I be at? I'd be working some 9-to-5 job or whatever, doing some bullshit, being unhappy with my life and everything. You know, I'd rather fail at chasing my dreams than fail at a job that I worked at for 40 years than get fired before I get retirement, you know.
Folks, Ironcore Resistance new album, For the Fallen, is out now via Pavement Entertainment, and you want to pick this album up. So, David, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, this album tour dates when you hit the road? How can they do that?
They can get all our stuff on ironcoreresistance.com. They can catch shows. You can get in contact with us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social platforms. I mean, we're pretty available. Yeah, we're about to hit the road right now. We're putting a tour together. We've got 2 tours coming up, actually. Can't really talk about them yet, but we're going to be hitting the road for this album pretty hard. So that's how they can do it.
Again, sir, thank you for your services. And before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, sure will, man. All right. This is David Willie, the guitarist and vocalist for Ironcore Resistance, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.